will end on this note. I know sometimes listening to me can be like getting a drink from a fire hose. And I have had that opportunity the last couple months too, by the way. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. So that is his place shall never be with those timid souls who know neither victory or defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. Once again, I'd like to thank the public for the opportunity to serve, and it truly is a blessing. Win or lose, you give everything that you can, and you're willing to suffer the consequences. And that way you can walk out of here with your head held high. 8 years ago, I had such joy and excitement, and I have that same joy today. Because now I'm able to do new things, spend more time with the people that I love. This council will be in my thoughts and prayers. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Councilor Smith and Graney, on behalf of myself, the incoming City Council, and all the residents here, and all your friends and family that are with us today, for your 8 years of dedicated service, it's truly appreciated. I'm going to jump on the same theme that Matt had, and it's strictly by accident. All of us, each one of us, complain about government in one way, shape, or form. We do it probably at least weekly, if not daily. Very few of those same people even go out to vote. And you can see by recent elections what a difference a vote does make. Fewer yet decide to run for a political office, taking on all the burdens, the joys, the lows, everything in between. And very few of them are fortunate enough to be elected. You two gentlemen have done your community proud. You've been elected to 2 councils. You've done a great amount of work for 8 years. And I'm sure this is a bittersweet moment, but it's a moment that every one of us on council, county legislator, whatever, will share at one point when our political, our municipal, our term of office expires. You can see, those in the audience can see that there's some real emotions here this afternoon, and I'm just not looking forward to the day where I have to be walking your shoes, gentlemen, to be quite honest with you. But enough said. I do appreciate having to work with you, gentlemen. I've learned a lot from you. And one thing I will say, that at the end of the night or the afternoon, when council was done, everyone walked away as adults. We may not have agreed on the floor, but it's almost like you go through an imaginary line there, and everyone acts like a grown-up, and we talk, and Councilor Smith picks on me, and Councilor Graney feeds him the lines. So. But once again, gentlemen, I thank you for your service to the city. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilor Camardo.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a healthy and happy New Year. And I personally, and especially on behalf of the City of Auburn, would like to thank Councilors Graney and Smith for 8 years of service that each one of you gave to the City of Auburn. It was an honor for me to serve with both of you. Anyone who steps forward to serve in the public service deserves our sincerest gratitude, and I thank both of you for your time given to the City of Auburn. Councilors-elect McCormick and Councilors-elect Cuddy, I congratulate both of you, and I look forward to working with both of you. As you both are aware, we have a lot of hard work and tough decisions to make in this new year, but I'm confident that together we can move the city forward. I also would like to thank everybody for participating today, and thank you for being here. This is your city, this is your process, and once again, thank you, and have a healthy and happy New Year.
I too can only echo the sentiments that we just heard expressed about the service of not only Bill and Matt, but any of the elected officials that we have had in the past. I'm going to offer some advice here, and my advice is to challenge and question. Challenge and question not only yourself, but also the so-called experts. Because if you don't challenge and question, you're not a leader, you're a follower. And what was elected was a leader. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councilor. At this time, I would ask Councilor-elect Cuddy to approach the podium, along with Judge Leon.
Mayor, past Corporation Counsel Mike McCune and I had a discussion. We want to swear them in right here in the middle. Steve, will you be able to take a... Yeah, just talk really loud. Keep the voices up.
Judge, do we have to rule you out of order today, or what?
Just don't stick your tongue out. Don't stick your tongue out, Ed.
Judge, I'd only ask you to speak very loudly so everyone can hear you.
I'm just trying to get set up. Before we get started, I want to introduce Terry's wife, Beth. When I was the Corporation Counsel, she was covered for the Pope standard. Did a wonderful job. Also, too, what we have here is the Foster Family Bible, which Terry is drawing on this one. Terry, ready? Yeah. You repeat after me. I, Terrence Raymond Cuddy,
I, Terrence Raymond Cuddy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the City of Auburn,
and the Charter of the City of Auburn,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of City Council
the duties of the office of City Councilor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thought you had to change your heart for a moment there, Terry. Everyone in the room stopped breathing there for a second. And at this time, I'd ask Councilor-elect McCormick and Judge McCune, if you would please move forward, come forward.
Everybody stop to follow Judge Leon. I'm going to have Councilor-elect McCormick's husband. Michael Cole. Okay, you ready? I, Deborah A. McCormick.
I, Deborah.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of New York.
the Constitution of the State of New York,
The Charter of the City of Auburn.
and the Charter of the City of Auburn,
And that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council
of City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So,
Clerk, if you please call the roll for the 2014 council.
Councilor McCormick?
Here.
Councilor Camardo?
Here.
Councilor Cuddy?
Here.
Councilor Rozika?
Here.
Mayor Quill?
Here. This time I would ask John Beer to step forward to the podium, if you would, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and councilors. You know, it's not, I think, been traditional to have a poem read at these inaugural events, but it certainly makes sense given that Auburn has a rather poetic history. The name of the town itself, as many of you know, comes from a poem by the 18th century English poet Oliver Goldsmith, and I'm going to make some reference to that in this piece, which is called Lake Effects. 100 centuries later, the ground here still springs back an inch every couple of years. Ice piled more than a mile clawed out Owasco Lake from harder rock surrounding. No echoing reverberation from that elemental tear sings out as you cross Grant Avenue. But underneath the grass, the Deauville sand, the graves, the land is springing back. Sweet Auburn, loveliest village of the plain, Oliver Goldsmith wrote, where health and plenty cheered the laboring swain, and myriad delights imagined buzzed throughout his deserted village, now made real at a crossroads where there used to be a forest. Cayuga longhouses give way to clapboard. Commerce flows more easily around the contours of the lake. A carpenter becomes a prison warden. It's history, you might say, and if its traces linger as variably as the phrasing of an energetic shoe ad or the photographs that Walter Long collected, still you might hope that we'd moved on a little from the question that drove the greatest of our neighbors. I mean the governor and diplomat who wrote, "The right asserted by our forefathers was not peculiar to themselves. They were the common rights of mankind." And his comrade whose unfathomable daring gave Seward's words a resilient core of truth, the Moses of her people. You might hope we'd grown a little, but the old questions have a way of reasserting themselves. Goldsmith's village was deserted, unlike its New World namesake, because ill fares the land to hastening ills, a prey where wealth accumulates and men decay. And so they migrated from Ireland, Italy, Poland, from Mexico, India, Myanmar to Vanandon and Cottage and Swift. That's one way the new day gets made. Another is the struggle for self-government, which women and men in Auburn fought for decades to enlarge. Thomas Osborne even propagated it in the prison. As mayor, he'd disguise himself and head to the taverns for some undercover polling. I'm not suggesting his model for the newly elected, but on this chilly afternoon and on a planet quickly warming, can you still sense under the ground a tremor of hope? Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. At this time, I'll call on remarks from our incoming council members. First off will be Councilor Cuddy. And just so everyone knows, I'm not picking a lady or a gentleman first. Since I've been mayor, I've tried my very best to pick the senior council member by the number of the votes in the last election. Terry outdistanced Debbie by a few votes, so
You had to bring that up?
you're with us. You're with us. So, Councilor, please.
Mayor Quill, Judge Leone, Judge McCune, Councilor McCormick, Councilor Camardo, Councilor Zika, Councilor Smith, Councilor Graney, Father Seal, Professor Beer, Mayor Carnicelli. My family and friends, today marks a change in leadership. As one chapter ends in the city's history, another begins. The oath I swear today is my covenant with the city and all that it represents. Its people, its history, and its future. Auburn is not alone in its challenges. Cities across the nation are struggling to adapt to the global economy and the local burdens it creates. The old paths to progress are not so apparent anymore, and communities everywhere are looking for answers. In times of great economic strife, there are two approaches that can be taken. One approach is to let anxieties and fears turn us against each other, and in the process, eliminate the very things that define us as a city. This passive approach would eventually leave Auburn an empty village. The second approach would take inventory of what Auburn has to offer as a city, to embrace our strengths and to build upon them. I agree with the second approach. We must address our new struggles constructively. To maintain its stature and create new opportunities, the City of Auburn must be open and ready to work with its citizens, its staff, school districts, neighboring towns, villages, Cayuga County, and the state of New York in general. At the same time, Auburn will expect the same courtesy of cooperation it extends to others. The City Council sets the policies, but equally important is the tone of such policies. If we extend our talent, expertise, and services in a way that is equitable and fair, it is a win-win situation for all parties. Nothing great is accomplished without working relationships, and let us stress the word work here. Working relationships take time to develop under the guidance of talented, ambitious public servants. Besides our history, our fresh water, and our beautiful landscapes, our greatest resource is our people. We need to recognize that Auburn is a center of our own region. We are not part of Syracuse, nor are we part of Rochester. Auburn is a unique cultural landscape unto herself, imbued with the greatest of potential. As a city councilor, I promise to champion the city of Harriet Tubman and William H. Seward, the city of Thomas Mott Osborne and Martha Coffin Wright, the city of Theodore Case and Bud Holland, the city of Auburn that brings us here today together to witness the culmination of the democratic process, is the Auburn I am privileged to serve faithfully as a city councilor. The motto on the seal of Auburn reads, Pax et Labor, which in Latin means peace and labor. I also want those words to be a guiding principle of my tenure on Auburn City Council. You already know we as a city have a lot of work to do, but as I stated earlier, we also must foster relationships with those around us and indeed each other. For the sake of Auburn, I humbly ask for God's guidance, and may God bless this great city. Thank you.
Councilor McCormick.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, everyone, for coming today to help us welcome the new year and kick off our first day as elected officials, as sworn-in elected officials. And thank you to all the staff that came in today to get the building open, those unsung heroes that they're thanking the weatherman today that it didn't snow. I know what that's like early in the morning here at City Hall. Before I begin, well, I was going to say before I begin, I was going to try to address the fact that I was city clerk, because I feel that that position is a big part of why I am here today, why I ran for city council, or how I got familiar with the position and the responsibility of a city councilor, I was going to talk about city clerk and then talk about city councilor. But as I got my thoughts together, they kind of all go together. I was appointed city clerk in 1999, and it was a privilege and it was an honor to serve the citizens of Auburn as city clerk, from issuing marriage licenses to dog licenses and everything that goes in between. It was a remarkable place to be day to day, and I truly I loved coming to work every day. I had the honor, through my position as city clerk, of working with some incredible people. And along the way, I worked with Auburn's first woman mayor, Melina Carnicelli, and I worked with our former corporation counsel and now our county court judge, Tom Leone, and company. I say that because he took everybody with him when he left. Thanks, Tom. Again, I never miss an opportunity to remind him of that. Of our former fire chief and now Mayor Quill, and then a grand assortment of city councilors that I've had the pleasure and privilege to work alongside. All passionate advocates for the city, passionate advocates for taxpayers, for the city's future, all committed, involved community leaders. Tom McNabb, Bob Hunter, Bill Jacobs, Chuck Mason, Gilda Brower, all these people combined have, I think, fed into, subconsciously, my ability to get up and run for city council. I watched them, I learned from them, and I hopefully can model some of the things that they taught me along the way, their patience, their grace under fire, their wisdom, the things that they did for the benefit of the city, the hard decisions they made, the criticism that they withstood, those types of things that I know that all 5 of us will face in the next 4 years. But I also know that they work together. They listened to each other, they respected each other, and they respected staff, they respected citizens, and other community leaders, and we all worked together. So I hope I can bring some of that as well to my position here as a city councilor. And as the newest member, I'm also, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm the only female. And if you haven't, we'll talk. I also bring another perspective, one that has been missing for a few years. It's the perspective that was first brought to City Council by Ann Bunker, who was our first woman to be elected as a city councilor, and then Melina Carnicelli, and then Gilda Brower, who I think is here. Gilda's here somewhere. Hi, Gilda. And now me. I think that it's important that women, not just women, but that a group of leaders has a diversity among them to represent the city. It can't just be one perspective or another. It has to be a combination to represent the entire community. And I hope that I'll be able to represent at least as much as I can the female perspective, as well as Ann Bunker, Gilda, and Melina did. And there's a lot of challenges ahead, and I know that, and we've talked about that throughout the campaign. But one of the things I want to leave you with, and I think it's unbeknownst to all of us, we're talking about the history of the city, and we've talked about the people that came before us, way before us. This building, through my work as city clerk, I've read a lot of the things that have been written about the building and the Osborne family. And the building was dedicated in 1930, and I actually had something to do with the program today. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, you'll notice that it's about the building. And this building, to me, it holds the spirit of all of the people that came through here. And it was meant to be that way by the people that donated it. The 2 women that donated it in memorial of their father. And the day that it was dedicated, April 30th, and on May, I think it was May 5th, it's in the program, didn't bring up here with me, but Mayor Osborne, Charles Osborne, was mayor at the time, and the first meeting here, I've got a quote on the program, and I'd like to read it. Not that you won't go home and, just the first thing you do when you get home is read the program, I'm sure, over and over again. But Mayor Osborne said something when I was reading about the building that kind of struck me for what we're about to do, or as elected officials, they were thinking in the future. He said, in a large sense, I feel that this Memorial City Hall is far more than a gift of concrete, brick, and granite. As the years go by, I believe this building will have a very definite result in the public life of Auburn. Aspirants for public office cannot help but make a keener fight for the privilege of sitting within its walls. Successful candidates are bound to be uplifted and inspired by its influence and spirit. I believe it actually brings Auburn many steps nearer to the millennium of municipal government, when civic affairs can be considered and conducted free from prejudice, selfishness, and partisanship for the benefit of the city as a whole. Mayor Charles D. Osborne. And I find this type of thought throughout a lot of the comments that I've found as I do research for various reasons in council proceedings from far back when they, from mayors, they're over here, the people that are on the walls, that to think of the greater good of the city, to put the benefit of the community ahead of your own personal thoughts, and that's what I hope to do as a city councilor. I'm very proud to be elected and very proud to be here. I appreciate everybody's support, and thank you. I'm going to keep talking. I think it felt so good. I'm really getting warmed up now. Before I sit down, I just want to let you know that I wasn't supposed to let the mayor know, and somebody leaked it out, that we're having a little reception at A.T. Wally's afterwards. Somebody let him know, so now I've got to tell everybody. No. We sent out announcements, and somehow not everyone got one. So just in case everyone here didn't get one, there's a reception immediately following at A.T. Wally's, so we can go and toast the new year, and everybody's welcome to come. I hope to see you there. And before you leave the building, on our way out, after we're done here in this room, we're going out on the steps of City Hall, and we have a little, at the end of your program, you'll see we're going to release doves, but we can't do it in the building. It's not going to work. So with that, I'll let the mayor take over.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor, just so you know, Joan and I will be following you. So if you're really going to Wally's, if you're going somewhere else, we're going to follow you. So. At this time, I ask former Mayor Melina Carnicelli for our prayer. Or Mayor, excuse me.
As we close this ceremony, and on behalf of all here present, Happy New Year, Councilor Cuddy. Happy New Year, Councilor McCormick. And Happy New Year to your family members, friends, and supporters gathered here today to congratulate you, encourage you, and bless you as you undertake the responsibility of city governance. It's not only a new year, it's also a new day, a new time, and a new era for our fair city. We congratulate you both on well-run, victorious campaigns, which were marked by respect at every turn. We offer you encouragement to remain positive and optimistic during both bright and darker times as you work for economic progress for our city and inclusion of all its people. And we bless you with our gratitude and support for sharing your energy, leadership ability, discernment, and forward thinking on behalf of all who live, work, play, and visit in Auburn, New York. Thank you, Councilor Cuddy and Councilor McCormick, for your willingness to serve. And much success to you Mayor Quill, Councilors Camardo and Ruzicka, as you take your places today on the new Auburn City Council. Congratulations.
Councilor McCormick mentioned the photos on the wall. For those unfamiliar with that, those are all the past mayors of the city of Auburn. With the exception of our two latest mayors, they decided not to have their picture in City Hall. And to my left in the rear corner, there's a plaque with 10 names. We're unable, over the years, to get have a picture of them, so they are commemorated in a plaque. It's kind of a tribute to all the mayors. When you leave here, they hang you in City Hall. So we've got to work on the members of council for something for that. So nothing further. Council entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Councilor McCormick, seconded by Councilor Cuddy. Would you please call the roll?
Counselor McCormick?
Aye.
Counselor Camardo?
Aye.
Counselor Cuddy?
Yes.
Counselor Ruzicka?
Yes.
Mayor Quill?
Aye. Happy New Year, everyone. Enjoy the day, and I'm following Debbie. We're adjourned.